Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, annoying as Dee, and it's like, what time is it? It's 8:28 right now, and I just wanted to come to y'all and talk about a little bit about my background, my ethnicity. Um, I I don't want to say I'm multiracial. I want to say I am multi-ethnic. Um, my mother is African American, and my daddy is Puerto Rican American. And um, my daddy is from New York, and my mother is from Miami. So, Miami-Dade County. It's a thing in Miami, like, if you're not from Miami, the city, then you're not from Miami. But, um, like, once you get past the bridge, I guess that's not considered Miami no more. And my mother, we're from exit numero uno. That's the last exit in Florida. That's way, way down at the bottom, baby. We from way, way down the bottom. And my dad and they moved to I think it was Leisure City. They moved from New York to Florida, and my grandfather bought a house down there in Leisure City. And then my dad, uh, when they moved down there, my dad was like a teenager. And my mom was born and raised in South Florida, Dade County. From the bottom, the nitty gritty. Some of y'all don't even know where that's at. Some people are really scared to get down there. I don't even know why. It's not even that bad. But anyways, talking about my ethnicity. So my father is Puerto Rican and my mother is African American, and they met at a job where my dad was a manager and my mom was a cashier. And they got together and they made me. And from there, I was born at Jackson Memorial. And in that time, being raised by these people, I can tell you one thing that really ain't no different. It really ain't no different. Same old drama. Everybody got their family problems. Everybody got their family successes. The food, but the seasoning is different. The preparation is different. But it's the same. It's the same. Like, I can make some empanadas with some ground beef and then put some collard greens on the side with what can I mix that up with? Some empanadas with collard greens. Pork chops are made the same. Rice and beans. Yeah, some empanadas with green beans. Some collard greens and some rice and beans. I'm trying to think, like, and then my grandmother she's a black Puerto Rican, and I guess you would consider my grandfather a white Puerto Rican. I don't even know how that even works. My grandmother's like the same complexion as me, and then my grandfather, he's light tone, and but they're both Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? So, would you say that they are black and white Puerto Rican? No, you'll just say that they're Puerto Rican. And my mother, she all the way black. Considering, I think it was my great grandfather, my great great grandfather, who was white. But according to my mother's DNA records, she only has like 1% European, and then the rest of it is West African. And it's like all the countries of West Africa is in our DNA. So it's crazy, right? The part of Puerto Rico that my family is from is San Juan. I wish I knew a little bit more Spanish than I know now. If you have been following me on Facebook, you know that I've been working on this, and it's getting there slowly but surely. I mean, you know, I'll be dibbling and dabbling in it. But what scares me is when like people come to me and I look Spanish, so they come straight up to me and then they would say, just start speaking Spanish really, really fast. And I'll be like, what? No entiendo. But they say one way, well, this one Puerto Rican girl who I used to work with, she said the way that she had learned to speak English was by watching TV, by watching the English channels. So I'm going to try that and see how that works out for me. Being black and Puerto Rican, it had its moments where people would be like, oh, so when people ask you what's your nationality, what you tell them, and then some people would, well, both parts would be like, oh, so why would you say Puerto Rican first, or why would you say that you black first? And that was an issue. And then it was like, what does it matter? Why does it matter? What does it matter? And but that was one thing. And I think on my dad's side, they weren't as much of a disciplinary as they were on my mother's side. I don't know if it was because we were the grandkids, but we would get away with a lot of shit. And then with my mom, nah, she was getting that ass beat. And then I'm trying to think, like, what was really a difference. And like when I would go to school, I hung out with black kids. I didn't hang out with Spanish kids. I didn't know any Spanish. I related more to, that's what I gravitated to. I didn't gravitate towards the Spanish kids. Maybe because I didn't speak Spanish, but still, like, I had Spanish friends in my neighborhood because at the time it wasn't a lot of black people in our neighborhood. So I hung out with Spanish. At that time, when I was like in middle school, we moved to Princeton, and it was a bunch of Spanish kids, and white kids in that neighborhood, and that's what I hung out with until I went to school, and I was just around African American kids. And but before we got to that neighborhood, we lived in Homestead, and that's all I was just around African Americans. So, and then on the weekends, I was at my grandma's house, and it weren't too many Spanish kids in that neighborhood, and we didn't go outside. We mainly stayed inside, and that was another thing. Like at my mom's house, I went outside, no problems. My grandma's house, no, you gotta stay in the house. Where are you going? Where is you going? No, y'all need to stay in the house. And then as we got older, we were able to go like walk around the block or whatever. But mainly we stayed inside. Did I get picked on as a kid? Yes, I did, but I don't think it was because of what I looked like, and I think it was just over some boy. That was it. Other than that, I had no problems with making friends. The first time I ever seen like a white person or a white kid was when I hit second grade, and we had moved to Homestead, and I went to this elementary school, and there was a bunch of white people there, and I was just like, I was a little taken aback from it because that's not what I was used to. My first school, they say it's in Homestead, but it looked like it's in Florida City, West Homestead. So I went to West Homestead like when I was in kindergarten and first grade. It was nothing but black and Hispanics at that school. Then when we moved to more into Homestead, I went to Avocado Elementary, and that was a diverse school, but the majority of the students there were white, and it was more like it was starting to become integrated. And now that I think about it, it was just like a lot of weird stuff happened regarding like black students. Like black students they weren't as spread out. Like they would be put in like one classroom. I was in a classroom where it was a little bit more spread out. And then some classes, it was just like African American students, and then they'll have like their white students across the hall. That's just crazy. But nowadays it's not like, I don't know, maybe it's still like that. It may be still like that. It's just a lot of things going on in the school system I'm not even going to touch up on in this video. But yeah, there's really no difference in being Puerto Rican or being African American. I don't even like saying I don't know, like black. Like when I grew up, I would say I'm black and Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican and black. It also depended on who I was speaking to. If I was speaking to an African American, I would say I'm black and Puerto Rican. And then if I was speaking to somebody Spanish, I would say I'm Puerto Rican and black. Because I already knew that people are real touchy on what comes first and what comes last. And I just didn't have time for the negative vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to get to where I need to get to. And sometimes the drama is not necessary. But yeah, I've worn weave. I'm probably gonna wear a weave again. I just don't have time to do it. And yes, I know how to. I know how to do a little something in the hair. That goes both ways with being Puerto Rican and being African American. It's I don't like saying African American. I would just rather say African. African American. It's African. It's African. Puerto Rican and African. But anyways, there's really no difference. There's really not a difference. Some people would say, well, look at your complexion or look at your hair, but if you ain't perm your hair and stop wearing weaves in your hair for months at a time, your hair will look just like mine. Trust and believe me. It's already been a proven fact. You see all these women, these African women with their hairs, their natural hair. They look just like mine. And they blacker than me. So, and then like at a point in time, I think it was a little difficult for my mom and my dad because my mom was black and my dad was Spanish, and they probably didn't have problems with any outsiders, but I heard some things that some people made it in the family, that they made it a little bit more difficult for my mom and my dad because of their ethnicity. And I just don't understand why. Why they just couldn't let my mom and my dad be happy. You see what they created? Look at me. Look at me. You can call me narcissistic if you want to, but that's just a play on words. So, I am Puerto Rican and African. Taino, tequila. And I am from Dade County, Florida. What else? What else? Oh, and then you know what would be so funny is like people would ask me, so what are you? And then I would say I'm black and Puerto Rican. And then they would say, who black and who Puerto Rican? And then I would say, my daddy Puerto Rican and my mama black. And they would say, what? Your mama black and your daddy Puerto Rican? And I would be like, yeah, wow, what's the big deal? You know, what's the big deal about the woman being black and the man being Puerto Rican? What is that? What is that? It's hair wash day, so don't mind my hair. It's time to wash this bad girl. That would trip me out. Your mama black and your daddy Puerto Rican? It's normally the other way. It's like, well, I guess I'm different then. That's too funny. But I never got like ridiculed about wearing weave. Well, yes, I did. They would say, you got good hair, Dee Dee. Why you putting weave in your hair? Because I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. This better be recorded. I'm going to be pissed if it's not. I would get my hair done and probably get some cornrows or get some poetic justice braids, or I don't know. But I would get my hair done and then it'll last me a week. And I wouldn't have to do my hair for a week. Normally I wash my hair like once or twice a week anyway, so I ain't leaving my hair in for no damn month. That's what's gonna create dandruff, and it's gonna disturb your scalp. Your scalp gotta breathe. Sorry, not sorry, but you put your wig on, you take that bad boy right off when you get home. I know it costs a lot of money to get like some pigtails or sew-ins. I know those cost a lot of money. But make you a wig and call it a day. I ain't never seen like a Puerto Rican get their hair done in no wig, except for me and my cousin. But my cousin, she black and Puerto Rican too, but her mama is the regular. Her mama and daddy is the regular black and Puerto Rican. Her daddy black and her mama Puerto Rican. And but her mama is light tone like my granddaddy, and her daddy is he's brown skinned, but she came out darker than both of them. And that's because my grandma, she a black Puerto Rican. Like my uncles and them, they black. And then my grandmother, she's like my complexion. And then my mother's mother, she's black. And then my grandfather, my mother's dad, he's like a copper complexion. And yeah. But my grandmother, my mother's mother, she was black with like hazel eyes. Like my mom, she got hazel eyes too. But my daddy got brown eyes. He got my eyes. I look just like my dad. Just like him. Just like him. But yeah, y'all. It really ain't no difference. One thing is that on my mother's side, my grandparents went to college, but they never bought a house. And on my dad's side, they didn't go to college, but they ended up buying a house. Why is that? So I just need y'all to like get into them loopholes. Learn about them loopholes. And it really ain't no difference. I should just say, like I said, I'm two ethnicities in one race. So it really ain't no difference. It really ain't no difference. You just gotta know what you're talking about, and you gotta know. You gotta get into them loopholes, and that's what you gotta do. I'm trying to think, like, there ain't no difference. I'm trying to see what's the difference. There ain't no difference. What, the language? It'd be the obvious, but eternally, spiritually, I think being on my dad's side, they communicate more than they do on my mom's side. It's a lot more communication. And I think that's why my grandparents were able to get the house, was because they always ask questions. And all right, so, and then you gotta know how to get around certain shit and ask questions and find those loopholes. That's what it is. Save your money, stack your money, and not be so wasteful. Because I know on my mom's side, it's way more expensive than on my grandmother's side, on my dad's side, materialistically. Like, I'm talking about my mom would get $6 nail polishes each. You feel me? And then my mom, she didn't like shopping at like Family Dollar and stuff. But when I would go to my grandmother's house on the weekends, that's where we was at. We was at the Family Dollar store. And, you know, it was my mom, she would rather save her money and wait to get what she wanted, and then like my grandmother, she would just rather get something that was less cheaper, just and to have it in front of her right when she wanted it. And I'm in limbo. Y'all don't understand. I got the best of both worlds, but at the same time, it can get a little confusing sometimes. But I love who I am. I love what I've become. I love what I am becoming. And I wouldn't change it for nothing. There's a reason why I was made this way. And I think I'm coming to a conclusion about it. And that is a part of my story. And I thought that I would share it with y'all, because some people think that because I am part Puerto Rican that I am privileged, and that's not the case. Because you can be black and still be privileged. So I think I'm privileged by being both and being able to see both worlds and being able to understand that it's all the same. It's all the same. Ain't no difference. Same food. We use the same seasoning. The only difference is the seasoning is not being... The same seasonings are in the cabinets. They just being used at different times, and the mixture is a little bit more different. But I go in my grandma's cabinet. She got the same thing my mama got. I go in the refrigerator. My grandmother would have like a cheaper version of some juice, and my mama would have a more expensive version. That's just about the difference, is materialistically. But at the same time, I don't know if my mom wants to buy a house, but I think because my grandmother decided to buy things that were a little bit more cheaper, she was able to save money and buy a house. But I don't know my mother's mom as well as I wanted to know her. And I know my grandfather, like I know who he is. I've seen him before, but I've never really sat and had a conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother, she passed away before I was able to conjure up the courage to go and talk to her by myself and not have to have my mama go with me. You know what I'm saying? So I lost that opportunity. It bothers me some. But yeah, I gotta go see my daddy, mama, my grandma who helped my mom raise me. I gotta go see her. I gotta go to Miami. Go see everybody. I gotta do a lot of traveling. But I gotta get up out of here, y'all. My time's almost up. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share and tell a friend.